Hello and welcome to episode 276 of the Thinking LSAT podcast in Vienna, Virginia. This is Ben Olson. With me is Nathan Fox in State Line, Nevada still, right? You're in a
That's
different
correct.
house, but
Yep. State Line, Nevada.
cool. And Rachel Barnes, the National Director of the National Black Law Students Association. Rachel, where are you?
I am calling from Charlottesville, Virginia.
Oh, okay. Cool. So a couple hours away from each other, I guess. Thanks for coming on the show today. We're going to obviously interview Rachel first and pick her brain about everything MBLSA. We're also going to tackle some emails as usual. The first one is asking, should I retake a 170? Okay. 157 to the high 160s in a few weeks, question mark. I guess someone is wondering if that's possible, or maybe they did that.
I would just go ahead and say, yes, that's absolutely possible, but
okay.
Yep.
Yeah, we'll see what the question is. Early decision seat deposit help. All caps. Okay. We'll see what we can say there. And if we have time, we'll tackle a logical reasoning question from test 65. This is going to air on Monday, December 14th. For some reason, I felt like saying that's only 11 days from Christmas. Amazon keeps telling me, like, every time I buy something, this is going to arrive by Christmas. I'm like, yeah, better. It's toilet paper. So, and we're almost out. But in any case, all right. The LSAT Flex registration deadline for the February LSAT is January 6th. So a little under a month away. The January LSAT Flex testing week starts Saturday, January 16th. And then the February LSAT Flex testing week starts Saturday, February 20th. If you have questions, email the show at help@thinkinglsat.com. Leave us a review on iTunes. We love hearing from all of you who love and hate us. That's all. Yeah. Anything before we jump into this wonderful interview with Rachel?
We haven't told people yet about our new admissions subscription at lsatdemon.com. I'm going to be taking a pretty active role in that. We can't answer every single admissions question on the show, but we do have a team of people, including me, who can help with admissions stuff. You can get all the information at lsatdemon.com, but basically one of the features on the show that people like a lot is when we rip the shit out of people's personal statements, and I'm going to be in charge of that. I'm doing my first one tonight, and I'm pretty excited. I think I'll have 2 different personal statements that I will be able to read and comment on. We do as many of them as we can on the show, but for people who are applying to law school now and want specific help with that, you can sign up for our, it's not just that, it's my office hour. It's also Santi's teaching a class on don't pay for law school, just basically about law school finances. Yeah. And then Carl has his admissions hour that he does. Carl and Katie are going to be doing a class called The Committee, where they evaluate somebody's whole application from start to finish. Anyway, if you're interested in that, you can check it out at lsatdemon.com or email help@lsatdemon.com.
Yeah, I just wanted to point out the big difference between the show's review of personal statements and your review of personal statements is that the person can be there and follow up with questions, right? And really give you more information and walk away with
totally. Yeah, and depending on right, and depending on how many people we have, I could even see going multiple laps with people, right? Like will tell them all of the things that are horrible about their personal statement, and then maybe a couple of weeks later, we'll have another chance to go back through it. Yeah, so I'm excited to see how it goes.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of a new concept, right? Subscription service for admissions advice. Admissions advice is pretty hefty out there. We'll see how this works. We hope that people like it.
Yeah, I mean, for a couple $100 for 1 month, you're going to get a whole team of people to help you evaluate your application. So I think a few months of that it's way cheaper than any of the other admission stuff that's out there. So hopefully people will like it.
Cool. Oh yeah, and we have new live captions on Demon classes. Are we announcing that?
Well,
is that a thing?
We do, except for I have to remember to hit the button. all of our teachers have to,
Oh,
Zoom hasn't
yeah.
gotten it together yet to just do the live captions automatically. So I have to actually hit the start button, and I have not yet remembered to do that. So
Okay.
Eden and all of my team have been asked to remind me to do that. But we should start having those live captions soon, which maybe they'll be helpful for people.
Cool. Yeah. Rachel, thanks again for coming on the show. Just as a reminder to our listeners, Rachel is the national director of the National Black Law Students Association. And yeah, I don't actually even know how we got connected. I think, did you reach out initially?
Yeah, I did. I
Okay.
think I randomly reached out on LinkedIn and we connected.
Oh, good. Okay. Awesome. Well, we want to know more about you and, how long have you been the national director and what's your day-to-day like? What is NBLSA, working on right now? What's their highest priority? I'm sure they have lots of goals, but feel free to start with any of that.
Sure. So my name is Rachel. I'm originally from Atlanta, Georgia. I am in my fourth year of 4 in the JD MBA program at the University of Virginia School of Law. After school, I guess to get that out of the way, I'll be moving to Philadelphia, where I'll be practicing corporate law for a law firm doing mostly mergers and acquisitions, also known as M&A. This is my second term as chair of the National Black Law Students Association, or NBALSA, or NBLSA, all the acronyms. And NBALSA was started in 1968 at NYU Law School and has since grown to represent over 200 law schools across the US, Puerto Rico, and the Virgin Islands. We also have a sister organization in Canada. Our mission as an organization is to increase the number of culturally responsible Black and minority attorneys who excel academically, succeed professionally, and positively impact the community. And with that, we have 3 divisions that we operate with. Our primary division is the Law Student Division, of course, as the National Black Law Students Association, but we also have an Alumni Division and a Pre-Law Division. And specifically within our Pre-Law Division, we try to offer programming and information for students who are seeking to enter the legal field in whatever capacity. And we have programs and events related to admissions, financing the LSAT, financing law school, and different decisions that go into being competitive to enter law school and beyond. And part of that is partnering with groups like LSAT Demon and sharing what kinds of materials you guys have that you're interested in passing on to our members.
Cool. Yeah, I mean, one thing you mentioned there is financing the LSAT and financing law school. I mean, obviously financing law school is a lot more expensive than financing the LSAT, but either way, I'm curious what kind of advice you tend to give people. Like our biggest thing is, hey, go for free, right? Try to go to law school for free if at all possible. Um, do you tend to try to push people in that direction, or what's the most common advice and how do you get that out there?
Yeah, so I agree, and I think that's our primary advice is try to find the loopholes, the scholarships, the discounts, things that will get you as close to free as possible, because it can be a very financially strenuous process. In terms of how we share that information, we do programs, we have symposiums where we bring everyone together in our pre-law network to share information that we have and also give our partners a platform to share the pro tips that they have. We partner with other groups that give financial advice as well and funnel it through our website as well as our social media. And those are our primary advice channels, but we're always looking for new ones.
How have the numbers changed since the founding of NBALSA? Are we making progress or are we slipping backward?
So it's a good question. One thing that we are working to do is increase the representation of Black attorneys in the field of law. Right now, it's been holding steady at 5% for at least the last decade. And Black individuals make up about 13 to 15% of the US population on average. So it's quite obvious that that is not even remotely representative of even the population within the US. And so that is something that we really want to work on. And part of that is raising awareness, letting people know that there are financial avenues for them to make it a little bit easier and affordable to get into law school, and also just demonstrating that it is a viable career path for more than just a certain subset of people.
Are the numbers any better in law school? I guess if the numbers were better in law school, that would indicate that we were making progress.
They vary. It definitely varies depending on the region and state, things like that. But we see about an average of between 6 to 10% ish, depending on the law school. And obviously there are HBCUs that have law schools as well. So those kind of skew the data in a certain way, but traditionally that's what we're looking at.
What can we do to help?
Well, this is a start, giving me and our organization a platform to raise awareness about our support system, our programs that exist to help people who are seeking entrance into law school. Beyond that, I think the biggest thing that people can do is just educate themselves and others, raising awareness, spreading the word, because a lot of people don't even know that this is an issue or that this is a challenge. Everyone assumes that law school is fair and free and easy to access for anyone who wants it. And that's not necessarily the case, especially when traditionally Black and minority individuals face a lot of other financial barriers, especially that make it very difficult to even consider pursuing a career in law.
Yeah.
I was wondering too, like Nathan, you asked how many Black law students are there in law school, right? And I was wondering how many Black applicants do we have coming from college? What's the percentage there that, or maybe that's not as big of a problem, or?
It's definitely a three-part problem. People not choosing to apply, people not getting in, and then some people maybe getting in but not choosing to come for different reasons. They feel like they can't do it, or they don't, or they go and they drop out. So having an attrition issue, things of that nature. So definitely, Ben, what you asked is important. Thinking about, are we even getting people to apply? Are people even considering this as an option? Is something that we're working to track, though of course it's very challenging because it's not even, pre-law doesn't really just encompass people coming straight from undergrad. There's people who choose law as a second career path or are taking this step a little later in their life. So it's very difficult to measure, but admission data indicates that at least applications to law schools overall are increasing. So hopefully that means that at some level there's an increased representation of minority applicants.
What resources, most of our listeners are pre-law, applying in the next couple of years, probably. What resources do you have to offer?
So within our group, we offer partnerships with large and small LSAT prep companies like Blueprint, Barbary, but also smaller startups to give people financial options that are more feasible for them. Beyond that, we have discounts with different groups. We have partnerships with airlines, for example, like United Airlines and American Airlines, to make flying to our conferences back when the world was open more feasible. We also have partnerships with Joseph A. Bank that offer suits. We do all sorts of things, trying to give people access to every element that's required to be successful in a law school pursuit.
Wow. So wait, to find all those, they just go to your website and like look for pre-law and resources or something like that? Or how do they take advantage of those?
To take advantage of it, you just have to become a member. We have on our website basic information about high level what we offer. And then we have a membership guide that is available for students by request. And our membership is only $10 for the whole year to get access to these resources. So we try to make it as feasible as possible for people to join. And then with that, you get, again, the discounts and the information on where to go and who we work with.
What's the website?
www.lsatprep.com. www.nblsa.org.
And you guys say Nabalsa.
Yes, Nabalsa.
Cool. I'm interested in, I think our listeners would be interested in a little bit of your personal story. What year did you say you are?
I'm a 3L officially, but I'm in a dual degree program. So that takes me 4 years at the school I'm at.
JD MBA, right?
Yes.
Okay, this is a perfect time for you to call bullshit on us, okay? Because
Okay.
I have an MBA and I have a JD, and I shit on JD MBA programs constantly.
Wow.
So I frequently don't know what I'm talking about, and I'm fully willing to admit that. Our opinion that we've stated many times on the show has been that the JD kind of trumps the MBA. And we question what the value of it really is. It just seems like an additional year of school and an additional $50,000 or whatever. Do you want to make the counter argument? What's the MBA part doing for you?
Sure. Well, first, it makes me a lot more competitive compared to other just JDs, especially when I'm going into corporate law. I have a different understanding of what corporate clients want than someone coming straight out of law school does. That comes with understanding the vocabulary, being able to communicate a bigger picture than just, can we do this, yes or no, or where is my purchase agreement? And that makes me also more marketable as a member of the law firm to clients, because that even just having the credential itself gives clients an added sense of assurance and confidence in the team that they're working with, because they feel as though with the MBA, you understand this, you get it, you're a business person, you know what EBITDA means, and things of that nature. So having that makes it a lot easier for me to get acclimated to a corporate law environment faster. Not that it can't be done with just a JD, but it makes it easier. Beyond that, I decided to get an MBA partially because I didn't know if I wanted to do law forever. And while a law degree translates to a lot of different things and opens several doors, having an MBA gives me technical skills and an understanding of finance, accounting, econ, and things of that nature that I might not have just from a purely JD education. And especially since to go to law school, you don't have to have one specific type of major. Say I started as a philosophy undergrad and now I'm doing JD and now I want to go into business. How do I do that? How do I transition in an easier way? So for me, it gave me a lot of different options and flexibility and greater credibility in the spaces that I seek to occupy. And beyond that, I'm sure you would agree, even just being a part of an MBA program gives you access to a network that you wouldn't have otherwise, of different individuals who are looking to either build their own business, go into banking, have their own hedge fund someday, things of that nature. So having those connections in and of itself is very, very valuable.
I guess it depends on the quality of the business school. We're not all about rankings here at Thinking LSAT. Of course, rankings are, I think, vastly overrated in most cases,
Yeah.
but UVA is a super high ranked law school. Is the business school similarly situated?
Yes, it is a very well ranked business school as well. So that definitely played into my decision. Also, since I figured I would get an MBA eventually anyway, adding one extra year to an already long 3 years made more sense than doing 5 years total. Also, life happens later, and I felt like I wasn't going to be able to predict or control what my obligations were in the future. So doing the dual degree now made more sense for my timeline.
Are you taking classes like at the business school with people who are just doing the MBA?
I did last year. This year,
Oh.
I am taking classes again with business students, but I'm also taking law school classes.
Oh, so last year you were just doing business school.
Yes, I did 2 full years of law school, 1 full year of business school, and this is my last year doing both.
I see. And okay, and when you were doing just business school, you were mixed in with the actual business school. It's not just you're like with JD MBA people. You were fully with the MBA classes.
That's right.
Cool. And your program is the MBA. So my MBA was not rigorous. Okay.
Ah,
Like, I don't know what EBITDA is. I have no idea. I didn't learn anything, but it sounds like you guys are like actually doing math and doing accounting. It's sort of a scientific discipline.
yes, yes. My school is well known for its academic rigor, if nothing else.
Right.
But that was what I wanted. I really wanted to be able to speak intelligently in a business context with the MBA. So that was helpful.
Cool.
Yeah.
Ben?
Yeah, I guess other questions. How did you end up preparing for the LSAT? What was your experience there? Why did
Sure.
you decide to go to law school?
In terms of, I guess, first, why did I decide to go to law school? Mostly because science didn't work out. I wanted to be a chemistry teacher when I went into undergrad. And then I took a real chemistry class and decided that this was not at all my
Wow.
calling. Um, so the only other thing that made sense in high school was economics. So I switched and ended up graduating with a degree in econ. And during my time in undergrad, I realized that teaching was not going to be for me. And I wasn't sure, again, what else I was good at, but I really liked mock trial in high school. So I thought, okay, maybe I can do pre-law and see how that goes. So I joined Phi Alpha Delta, which is a co-ed pre-law organization. I was in all the pre-law, anything pre-law that was happening at my undergraduate university, I was attending. And I also interned in my last year at the district attorney's office in my college town, and decided corporate or criminal law was not for me, but that I really did have an interest in law. So that progressed into, after graduation, I worked as a paralegal briefly in Atlanta at a big law firm and really liked big firm life, and decided law was definitely for me and big law was probably for me as well. So step one for that is prepping for the LSAT. In terms of how I did that, I took the LSAT twice. The first time I tried to do it by myself. And if I'm honest, I did not give myself enough lead time to prep by myself. And I don't think I took it very seriously. I thought, okay, I mean, it's just a standardized test. It's no big deal. I'll just kind of do a few problems, read the book, and it'll be fine. And so when I took it for the first time, I did a June LSAT. Took it for the first time, I think my junior year of undergrad. I did fine, but definitely not at all where I hoped to be. And that's when I decided that maybe I should get a bit more serious about it and really try to take a course. So I did a course. I started in person, didn't like in person. Luckily, the group I was working with was very gracious enough to let me switch to online, which worked better because at that time I was working full time and trying to study for the LSAT, and commuting after work to go to a class was just stressful and I didn't like it. So I ended up switching to online, which was in the evenings and recorded. So that let me go back and take notes and reevaluate what we had learned in class that day. And I did make a decent improvement in my LSAT score the second time I took it, and then applied to UVA.
Awesome.
Awesome. But before we let you go, any tips? We have a lot of listeners who are probably starting law school this fall or maybe next fall. Any tips for zero L's, soon to be one L's?
Sure. The biggest tip I would say is remembering that you are a high functioning adult before you started law school, and you will be during and after. I think law school does a good job of making you second guess all of your decisions every step of the way, because you see people who seem more confident than you at what they're doing, or they're getting better grades, therefore they must be smarter, they must be more capable. If you were smart enough to get into law school, you're smart enough to finish and succeed. So I guess my biggest piece of advice is be confident in yourself. Try to have blinders when possible, so that you don't get caught up in what other people are doing, because it's really easy to doubt yourself and get distracted. But just reminding yourself why you're there, and that, again, you are a high functioning adult capable of graduating, would be my biggest advice.
I love that tip. I mean, a little bit of perspective goes a long way. It's crazy, the pressure cooker, especially the 1L, first semester, the whole first year, really. People just lose their minds.
Yeah. Also, your comment on put the blinders on, I think that's just like incredibly invaluable everywhere, right? Like people start comparing themselves. The only thing you have to do is what you have to do, and you have to do it better than you did the day before. Just keep getting better. That's it. Cool. If people want to reach you, what's the best way for them to get in touch? Get in touch, social
Yeah.
media, so on.
Yeah. Social media at NBLSA or at NBLSA_pre-law. Those are our social media. We have LinkedIn, Facebook, and Instagram. And then to reach me directly, I can be reached at chair, like sitting in a chair, at nblsa.org.
Awesome.
Great. Thank you.
Thank you.
Again, everyone, that was Rachel Barnes, the National Director of the National Black Law Students Association. The Balsa? Did I say
The
that
balsa.
Yes.
right? Okay, cool. Thanks again.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks, Rachel. Nice to meet you. Hopefully talk to you soon.
Yeah.